The Diary of Samuel Pepys, 16th of December, 1660. In the morning to church, and then dined at home. In the afternoon, to Whitehall, where I was surprised with the news of a plot against the King's person and my Lord Monk's, and that since last night there are about 40 taken up on suspicion, and amongst others it was my lot to meet with Simon Beale, the trumpeter, who took me and Tom Doling into the guard in Scotland Yard, and showed us Major General Overton, where I heard him deny that he is guilty of any such things, but that whereas it is said that he is found to have brought many arms to town, he says it is only to sell them, as he will prove by oath. From thence with Tom Doling and Boston and, Dick Vines, whom we met by the way, to Price's, and there we drank, and in discourse I learnt a pretty trick to try whether a woman be a maid or no, by a string going round her head to meet at the end of her nose, which, if she be not, will come a great way beyond. Thence to my lady's, and stayed with her an hour or two, talking of the Duke of York and his lady, the Chancellor's daughter, between whom, she tells me, that all is agreed, and he will marry her, but I know not how true yet. It rained hard, and my lady would have had me have the coach, but I would not, but to my father's, where I met my wife, and there supped, and after supper by link home and to bed. Don't go nibbling my ears, you. The 17th of December, 1660. All day looking after my workmen, only in the afternoon to the office, where both Sir Williams were come from Woolwich, and tell us that, contrary to their expectations, the Assurance is got up without much damage to her body, only to the goods that she had within her, which argues her to be a strong, good ship. This day my parlour is gilded, which do please me well. The 18th of December, 1660. All day at home, without stirring at all, looking after my workmen. You didn't do much that day, Samuel. The 19th of December, 1660. At noon I went and dined with my lady at Whitehall, and so back again to the office, and after that home to my workmen. This night Mr. Gordon sent me a great chine of beef and half a dozen of tongues. The 20th of December, 1660. All day at home with my workmen, that I may get all done before Christmas. This day I hear that the Princess Royal has the smallpox. The 21st of December, 1660. By water to Whitehall, leaving my wife at Whitefriars, going to my father's to buy her a muff and mantle. There I signed many things at the Privy Seal, and carried £200 from thence to the Exchequer, and laid it up with Mr. Hales, and afterwards took him and William Bower to the Swan and drank with them. They told me that this is St. Thomas's Day, and that by an old custom this day the Exchequer men had formerly, and do intend this night, to have a supper, which, if I could, I promised to come, but did not. To my lady's, and dined with her. She told me how dangerously ill the Princess Royal is, and that this morning she was said to be dead. But she is that she hath married herself to a young German, which is worse than the Duke of York's marrying the Chancellor's daughter, which is now publicly owned. After dinner to the office, all the afternoon. At 7 at night I walked through the dirt to Whitehall to see whether my lords be come to town, and I found him come and at supper, and I supped with him. He tells me that my aunt at Brampton has voided a great stone, the first time that I heard she was troubled therewith, and cannot possibly live long, that my uncle is pretty well, but full of pain still. After supper home and to bed. 22nd of December, 1660. All the morning with my painters, who will make an end of all this day, I hope. At noon I went to the Sun Tavern on Fish Street Hill to a dinner of Captain Tennyman's, where was my Lord Inchiquin, who seems to be a very fine person, Sir William Penn, Captain Cuttance, and one Mr. Lawrence, a fine gentleman, now going to Algiers, and other good company, where we had a very fine dinner, good music, and a great deal of wine. We stayed here very late. At last Sir William Penn and I home together, he so overcome with wine that he could hardly go. I was forced to lead him through the streets, and he was in a very merry and kind mood. I home found my house clear of the workmen, and their work ended. My head troubled with wine, and I very merry went to bed, my head aching all night.